Alright, we are recording. Hopefully finishing off Deus Ex Human Revolution. Well, we'd better be finishing it off, because I'm not starting the time, I'm starting a stopwatch. Alright. So I did some looking, especially since I don't really have much in the way of offensive weapons. Mainly there is a trick, well, ish, for this boss. If you enter in the shutdown code, eventually they lose power. Now that doesn't, you still need to take them out, but if you can hide and outlast them, then yeah, it's taken care of. I'll just say, I don't think that you could build this just because of the amount of water pressure. Like, the amount of material would also be absolutely insane, but the water pressure pushing in on this would be nuts. You'd have an easier time doing this kind of hole towards the core of the Earth. I mean, let's face it, you're not going to go all the way down there. If you're just looking to get energy, you're going to get plenty out of the mantle anyway. But yeah, I mean, you'd have a better shot doing it over land. Okay. Heavy rifle. Plasma rifle, which that is the thing that I have ammo for.
What the hell? Oh my God.
Water pressure nominal at 173 psi.
Who am I?
Communications web online.
I feel cold.
Drones 1 through 3 within operational parameters.
I don't remember.
Drone 4 disconnected.
Let me go.
Processing.
Oh God, please help me. I'm scared.
Core temperature stable. Processing.
Zhao, what are you doing?
Connecting to Panchaea's Haron project, Mr. Jensen. The most advanced quantum computer slave to the human brain, and the closest to perfection we'll ever achieve. I'm going to use it to hack Zero's signal and rework the message to our benefit.
Our benefit? You mean the Illuminati's?
Someone has to override the signal and be the world's savior. And let's be honest, neither of us would trust anyone else to fill that role. Computer, begin EEG sync.
So much pain.
Syncing beta waves at 40 cycles per second.
Sleep, please. Let me sleep.
Incompatible master-slave chain detected. Alert. Unable to transfer control to Alpha.
Hey.
The system won't recognize my chip.
Neural systems offline. Rerouting control of the gene.
I can't control Iron.
Increasing glutamate levels by 32%.
Zhao, get them out of there. I have to reach the control chamber.
No! I can still control it! I'm in control!
Stop the signal.
Security alert.
Through the primary drone hatch.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Alpha pod security in place. To access Alpha pod, purge tertiary pods.
I'm just going to alter the signal! Once I do, the Council will welcome welcome me with open arms.
Contamination warning.
Ah.
Mother! Stay with us!
1. Manual override of tertiary pods initiated. Total system purge in effect. Shutting down tertiary station pod. Warning. Electrical charge subcritical and rising. Electric discharge sequence initialized.
Where did you get that gold? From that fool Daryl. This will not stop me, Jensen. It's happening. Harlan is gone.
Alright.
No.
Yeah, we'll just save over that one.
You don't know the resources they have at their disposal, Jensen. Despite your special genetics, you have been in over your head the whole time. Initiate dissipation protocol.
Warning. Primary pod compromised. Secondary security measures activated. Evacuate area.
You still cannot reach me, Jensen. There are too many contingencies built into the system. You and I have both failed.
Okay.
Warning. Primary pod station damaged.
No! I will not lose this. Right. I have worked too long to stop now. You want the glory. Is that never? It is all mine. I have given everything for this.
Warning. Primary pod station failure.
Alright.
Access grant. Electrical charge approaching critical levels. Discharge imminent. Clear the area.
Alright, that is taken care of. And... so it's... yeah.
I can't.
So everything overloaded and shut down such that the shield went down so I could just pop her with that. That's what I saw. I mean, they don't talk about using a stun gun, but yeah, it's... But apparently it's also, if you have the laser rifle and just aim it at her, it'll actually go through that shield and kill her. It takes a few seconds, but yeah. Yeah, that electric attack on the floor was actually helping me more than hurting me. Sorry. Because when the guys from in here were being released and coming out, I think it also killed them. A result of that was the electric attacks killed them. So it protected me. Especially since I was immune to the damage. Alright.
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the Edge. It is not the end of the world, but you can see it from here.
Eliza? What are you
I'm
doing?
gonna drink water.
It is my job to monitor and report on the news, Adam. Before Darrow smothered everything with his signal, the whole world was tuned into this place, including me.
The broadcast. I have to stop it.
I know. Please, come closer. Do you know where we are, Adam? We are at the fulcrum point, when society lies in the balance. Hugh Darrow hoped to tip the scales one way, by telling the world everything you already know. About the biochip, the Illuminati, everything. He believed knowing the truth would convince mankind to abandon research into human enhancement technologies forever.
It would certainly give them reason to fear it.
Indeed. Darrow's confession is ready to send. If you want, I can wideband it across all media as soon as you shut down the signal. Everything you worked so hard to uncover will be exposed. But only if you deactivate the broadcast using this control. However, if you desire, I can alter Darrow's message. Conceal the creation of the biochip while putting in new content.
Content blaming the humanity front. Like Seraph suggested.
The organization has already admitted to harboring terrorists. It would be easy to convince people they turn to biological warfare in a more desperate attempt to get rid of augmented people.
But why? What would that achieve?
In time, it could shift the focus of hatred onto people whose prejudices are seen as too extreme, leaving corporations free to experiment with human evolution as they desire. But if you want me to perform this edit for you, you must disengage the signal and activate the video edit function from here. Alternatively, Darrow's message can be adjusted to erase all mention of the power group known as the Illuminati. I can report that lack of proper regulation allowed vast quantities of neuropozyne to become contaminated prior to reaching the market.
Taggart's preference. You think the world will buy a made-up story about neuropozyne poisoning?
You might be surprised by what people believe. I can convince them. And having experienced the negative effects of corporate negligence firsthand, a majority of people might force the world to place harsh restrictions on all human enhancement research. But only if you disengage the signal and activate the video edit function from here. Of course, there is another option. This passage leads to Panchaea's pressure regulation controls. Destroy them and the installation will cave in on itself, overwhelmed by the weight of the ocean pressing against it. Everyone inside the structure will die.
That's a solution?
No one will be left to tell the world what happened, Adam. Nobody will be able to spin the story.
Including me.
The choice is yours. Do you believe you have the wisdom to choose an appropriate future for mankind? Or do you trust mankind to find the answers on its own?
I think that that it used to be, or at least there was a way that this wouldn't open. In which case then I'd go with this, because we don't need Seraph's lies or Taggart's lies. But it's, exposing the Illuminati and such, that would be good, but it would still cause a lot of fear that isn't necessarily right or appropriate. But this... Actually, hang on just... That's actually true. Can do that. Especially since this is otherwise going to be a short one.
If you do this, the world will be left with questions and may never reach a consensus. Are you sure this is your choice?
Yes.
We have little time left, Adam. And might I say, it has been a pleasure.
And this, I'm pretty sure, is also the canon one, because one of the trailers, at least one of the trailers, for Mankind Divided, the sequel, has Jensen being rescued from the ocean.
Do I trust mankind to save itself? That's what Eliza was asking. The truth is, I don't know. After everything I've seen, all the fighting and the chaos around me, I only know what I want to believe. Somehow, human decency will triumph. These past few months, I've faced many life-threatening situations. I could have given up many times, but my need to know the truth, to uncover the secrets that others were hiding, and to survive forced me to keep on going. Most of the time, I tried to keep my values in mind, knowing my actions did not have to harm others. I held on to my humanity, resisting the urge to abuse power or resources in order to meet my goals. And in the end, I got the job done. But does this mean I have the right to choose for everyone? No. Because it isn't up to me. It isn't up to Darrow, Sarif, or Taggart either. Ordinary men and women will have to decide together what course mankind should take. The kind of people who time and time again have picked and chosen the future in highly practical ways, slowing change when it's negative, speeding it up when it's good. Can they do it again? I don't know. But I do know I'm not about to let anyone in this station, myself included, stand in their way.
Okay. Now, because of that save, I am not... I'm going to save the credits for last, because, like, we can run through all 4 of the endings. I think there's actually an achievement if you do see all the endings. I'm going to have to keep running back each time because of the way I saved. Okay, I'll save here. I'll make the Darrow one the last one, though, so let's... Actually, no, let's go with Taggart.
If you do this, first-hand experience with corporate negligence on such a grand scale may convince mankind to enact harsh restrictions on human enhancement research. Are you sure this is your choice?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, working my way up to the other one, because like, I definitely don't want to help the Illuminati, but that's what this one does. But let's see it.
Freedom. To those who don't have it, it's more valuable than gold. But where should it start and end? We humans often think we have the right to expand, absorb, convert, or possess anything we need to reach our dreams. But time and time again, hasn't this led to conflicts with others who essentially believe the same thing? Looking back on the challenges I faced, at the way I often resolve them, I realize morality can become our saving grace. Most of the time, didn't I try to keep my values in mind, knowing how my actions would affect others? More often than not, I resisted the urge to abuse power and resources simply to reach my goals more swiftly. I managed to hang on to my humanity, but the temptation to ignore it was always there. It's that temptation that so worries Taggart. He's not afraid of freedom. He's afraid of the chaos that erupts when individuals have nothing but morality to constrain them. He wants us to regulate enhancement technologies because he fears all that power without limits, without guide rails to keep us from abusing it.
that claims
Absolute freedom
power
is no
himself.
better
I
than
mean,
chaos. Society needs laws and regulations to protect it. So if the men and women behind Taggart need to work in the shadows, pulling strings to enable us to head in a safe direction, will supporting them be all that bad? If
yes.
they're as wise as Taggart says, how bad will their leadership be?
I mean, by
Let's hope they stand by what they say.
their interests are going to be their own always. So you cannot trust them. I mean, you can trust a person to always act in their own self-interest, essentially. Unless they are, in fact, saints. And most people aren't. So you trust them to act for themselves, well then, how can you trust them to act on your benefit?
If you do this, the focus of hatred may shift to those responsible for unleashing biological warfare, leaving corporations free to experiment with human evolution. Are you sure this is your choice?
Okay, I just noticed her portrait in there is very weird looking, and I finally figured out why. It's essentially got aliasing along the bottom. They should have that blending, and it's not. So you've got just under her collarbones 2 stair steps, and it looks so weird at a distance. Now that I've actually taken time to look more closely, yeah, it's they should have made that a little different.
One thing. It's in our nature to want to rise above our limits. Think about it. We were cold, so we harnessed fire. We were weak, so we invented tools. Every time we met an obstacle, we used creativity and ingenuity to overcome it. The cycle is inevitable. But will the outcome always be good? I guess that will depend on how we approach it. These past few months, I was challenged many times. But more often than not, didn't I try to keep morality in mind, knowing that my actions didn't have to harm others? Time and time again, didn't I resist the urge to abuse power and resources simply to achieve my goals more swiftly?
Yeah, so
In the past, we've had to compensate for weaknesses.
it does appear that
Solutions that only benefit a few.
the fact I almost
But what if we never
completely avoided killing
or morally conflicted again?
definitely
What
influences
if the
these.
path Sarif wants us to take enables us to hold on to higher values with more stability? One thing is obvious. For the first time in history, we have a chance to steal fire from the gods. To turn away from it now, to stop pursuing a future in which technology and biology combine, leading to the promise of a singularity, would mean to deny the very essence of who we are. No doubt the road to get there will be bumpy, hurting some people along the way. But won't achieving the dream be worth it? We can become the gods we've always been striving to be. We might as well get good at it.
That's just creepy. The image of a fetus with the ports and such already on there. That's creepy. But I just want to add, because one thing that Jensen threw at Taggart was the whole, what was it, society at the cost of, crap, I don't remember, but it was essentially the whole, he's working to protect society, but he's not working to protect people. Which is definitely a thing you do see with some viewpoints, some concepts, where things that are that only exist from people are we're putting to have more weight than the people themselves, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. like, to benefit society, we can kill those people, is an argument that can be made then, and indeed has been made. So and there's that, but at the same time, there's Seraphs is kind of the whole progress can be made at the expense of people as well. And it's like, that's not any better. It's like both are morally wrong. So
If you do this, the unadulterated truth in Darrow's confession may well convince mankind to cast all science and technology aside.
to be fair, I don't think mankind would be that stupid.
Generations grow up free and whole. Are you sure this is your choice?
I was like, that's a really exaggerated take on what would happen. Experience all the different endings. Finally got that, because I guess I've never actually picked that one.
Einstein said, technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. It took me a while, but I finally see his point. How often have we chased the dream of progress only to see it perverted? More often than not, haven't the machines we built to improve life shattered the lives of millions?
Depends on the technology you're talking about.
And now we want to turn that dream on ourselves to fundamentally improve who we are. Experience has shown me how dangerous that can be. How many times in the Call of Duty did I almost fall into the trap of taking shortcuts, abusing my abilities or the resources at hand? I resisted. Barely at times, because I valued human lives and considerations. Can I truly despise others who fall? Technology offers us strength. Strength enables dominance, and dominance paves the way for abuse.
Hence why morality is important.
He knew that using technology to become something more than we are risks losing our ability to love, aspire, or make moral choices. The very things that make us human. It also risks giving some men the power to make others what they choose, regardless of the cost to human dignity. The suffering Darrow inflicted is not the end of the world. It is merely the seed for change. And change never comes without pain.
Yeah, so now the credits can roll. It's a good game, even if there are some things that have annoyed me through this, especially in the previous part. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of technologies that you can claim that, yo, look at how it's made the world worse. It's like, yeah, but what about the ones that made it better? Like, just generally speaking, agriculture. It's like the ability to feed the world is a pretty good one. But you can also claim that it's been twisted in some cases when certain people have that power and, you know, have the food and then refuse to feed others. It's like, yeah, but what are you going to say? That for that reason we should burn all crops? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's... You try to compete with that somehow. I mean, yeah, and it's one thing also, the idea of choosing to have some of these prosthetics done, that I would grant is that's a very significant thing. So it's like, to just have healthy body parts removed and replaced like that, no, that is something that actually should be medically rejected. Just, you know, like the Hippocratic Oath actually should be saying, no, we can't do this. But then it's also a lot of doctors are able to graduate, you know, get their medical degrees without ever taking that oath today. It's very disturbing. You know, the whole concept of do no harm, although there is more to that in the Hippocratic Oath. That's just a very pared down summary of it. But that's essentially what the limb clinics would be guilty of violating whenever it's done to somebody who doesn't need it. I mean, Jensen, because of the injuries he suffered, a lot of his implants, it could be argued, were to save his life. So, now true, he also didn't have a choice in it, but that, it might be a little complicated, because it is possible that his contract with Seraph allows Seraph to make those decisions. Especially in the circumstance of he suffered these injuries while working for the company and in his service to the company. So it's, yeah, but a lot of the stuff though, like Malik, Pritchard, they both refer to having neural implants, and it's like, well, how are those? Actually, yeah, I guess how would those have been done? It wouldn't make sense they removed the brain, so would they just implants? That then might have been acceptable, but the idea of somebody just like, yeah, I could use a better arm, let's remove the arm. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. It's kind of like how at the convention center a few parts ago, somebody's saying about how, basically making that argument that it's one thing if it goes to somebody who's already an amputee. It's another one people are just choosing to mutilate their own bodies for this. It's like, that is a problem. And it's also, you have things like Munchausen's, where people just have this unfortunate psychological desire to be subject to different medical procedures. So you could have some people where it's like, no, they want the augments just because they are so... she also... Well, I guess that makes some sense. And because it just going through that process. And I think Munchausen's is also partly because of the attention it gets. I don't know. I haven't looked at Munchausen's for a long time. Actually, probably not since I took a psychology class back in college, which, oh god, that would be 13 years ago, I think, at this point. I graduated 12 years ago, but I think it was the year prior. Why is that guy without his shirt? Anyway, I'm just trying to think. I mean, it's... This game, part of what makes this game interesting is the ethical questions that are put forward. But it is, I do, like, looking at the different options here, how it presents them are really not that great. Because some of them, it's like, that's not how that would actually go. Whereas others, it's like, that is actually kind of close, but it is still somebody that's like, eh. I don't remember with Mankind Divided. It hasn't been as long. I'm just trying to remember exactly. I want to say that some of the ethical questions that it puts forward there are more so... when is violence and terrorism appropriate, I guess is a way to put it. Because I know part of it is that you have... Okay, so the canon ending is the structure's destroyed, you survive though. Adam Jensen survives, he's the only one. And he doesn't really share what happened. So no one really knows, and... a lot of people had their lives ruined by what happened here. And it produces a lot of fear, and basically they are forced into ghettos. You do have some who, like, I want to say Adam Jensen is actually able to, like, get around some. Like, in different places, people will leave him alone because he doesn't look that bad. His augments, though obvious, are not too obvious. But there are others that's not the case for, but also a lot of people chose to have their augments removed. Like, I don't know if she's in the second game, but Malik could, because it's like, as she said, they don't show, so if she had them removed, no one would ever need to know. So it's... They are being made into second-class citizens, though, everywhere. and some of them are trying to fight back because people are treating them so badly, and it's undeserved. And so some have turned to one kind of movement or another. One kind being assertive to aggressive, but not necessarily violent, and another that's, it's violent. And I don't remember how much the Illuminati play into all of it, but it is definitely probably. I think it is still something there that is a factor, but it is those kind of questions. The ethics of violence, because there are times that violence can be justified, but there are also many times when it cannot be. But it's for some people where that line is questionable and can even move. Yeah, so I don't know when. I will try to do that game as well. I got 14 and a half weeks on this. I'll need to do a Left 4 Dead thing at some point. Pick up. I think the next campaign will give me 5, so that'll be 2.5, so 2 more weeks on this. That's 17 weeks in total. I want to do something in between. I'm not sure what. But yeah, so I will try to do Mankind Divided as well. And I'm also just trying to think. Because one thing that they had to do was, especially in a world after these events, how do you have Jensen be able to upgrade more? And he goes to an underground doctor who will work with augments because, like I was just saying, basically it's taboo now. Well, taboo at that time. And it's like, no, actually they put a whole bunch of experimental augments in there. It's just they'd not been activated. They'd not been available. I think also because some of them were experimental and not trustworthy, although I don't think any ever fail in the game. So I was actually, I kind of vaguely remember being like, oh man, that could be an interesting, no, they're always completely reliable. I don't know how they could do a third Jensen game then, explaining that he has now even more abilities. Unless it is he goes through more augments, but I don't think that would be appropriate. I don't think it would make sense that he would undergo more augments. He could by his choice, but I don't think the character would really support that. But I could see the augments becoming more advanced on their own.
You worry too much, Morgan. There's nothing we can't manage given time. She's here. I have to cut this short. Keep going through the wreckage. Maybe we'll find something we can use for the Morpheus initiative. Come in! Dr. Reed! We're so pleased you decided to join us.
Where else could I go?
No regrets, my dear. As Ariadne told Theseus before he entered the Minotaur's labyrinth, always forward, never left or right. You'll be very interested in our current project. We're breaking new ground.
Yes, the nanite virus chimera is quite intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing the hybrid project up close, Mr. Page.
And so you shall. But please, call me Bob.
And doesn't seem right. I got an achievement for watching all the way through the credits. And that just doesn't seem right. I'm not going to close the game yet. I've alt-tabbed. I'm not going to close the game yet. It seems to react poorly. Well, it takes a longer time to close if I don't shut down everything I need to record first. I don't think she is in Mankind Divided. At least I don't remember her being in it. But I do want to check one thing. Shouldn't take long to come up. Okay, there. Yes. Okay. I was just checking that Michelle Boback, who is Megan Reed, and Elias Toufexis. They are in fact married. I said that at the very beginning. I just wanted to check that to make certain. But yeah, it says that I'm just looking at IMDb. It says they've been married since June 23rd, 2007, and have 2 kids. Anyway, but yeah, I don't think she's. Oh wait, yeah, that actually would be the easiest way. Oh no, she is. She is listed as being in Mankind Divide. I don't really remember her, to be honest. And she's not high up the list on IMDb. Well, the way IMDb lists this stuff is so weird. I'm trying to remember what movie it is. There's at least one movie that I have where it credits somebody who's like in maybe 15 minutes of a movie. They have that person at the top, whereas the people that are actually starring at the movie are lower down. And the whole reason is because because that person ended up the one who's only in like 15 minutes ended up becoming way more famous than them. Yeah, they don't have her listed in the top cast even. So yeah, it could just be flashbacks or something like that. But I've lost my train of thought a little bit. Oh yeah, so he talked about how the going through the wreckage. It is because as I said, the canon ending is Adam deciding to destroy the whole thing. So yeah, it just that is why it's like that. But it is also, isn't that kind of disappointing, the whole Megan deciding to hang on, I honestly don't remember her in Mankind Divided, so I'm gonna try to look this up. But it's kind of disappointing, the whole her deciding to apparently work with the Illuminati. It's, I'm trying to read quickly. That's interesting. Apparently, in the director's cut developer commentary, it's mentioned she was Megan is actually supposed to have been on Panchea with Jensen and be with him until the end of the game. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So what I'm seeing on the wiki for Deus Ex, I'm actually not sure if it's all the games, but it does say that she might not be aware and fully understanding that she is working for a member of the Illuminati. That what they're working on Well, it also is suggested that there is a plague that's hitting the people in the augmented people in Mankind Divided. It's possible her research actually led to its development, but she may not have really recognized that. She doesn't seem all that smart in some ways. She did also keep working on coming up with the solution that Adam has naturally, but the solution so the neuropozyne isn't necessary, but it can also sometimes act as a poison, so you kind of need something to neutralize it, a cure for it. All the time she does urge that, but some people are like, nah, it doesn't matter. So yeah, but these mentions here make me think that she may only be in Mankind Divided as flashback, or as a newscast kind of thing, and that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know when I'll... Fortunately, I got time before I need it. Because I do have other things I want to work on first. And as I don't know what I'll do in the middle. At least, I do feel... I don't know which, but I do feel that this game... Because it is more action than Abzu. I do think, though, that this has, from what I've seen, shown that, at least at this point, I can do these other games, these games that are not horror games, that are not going to scare me, but they can still cause stress for me. Because which one was it? Damn, I can't remember which one it was now, where there was when in a fight that was frustrating me, my heart rate went up, and then it was the one where I had to rescue Malik, where we got back into Hangzhou, however you pronounce it, the Chinese city. And it's like, I finally managed to rescue her, but it was like so stressful, so my heart rate is up, and then it finally comes back down after. It's like, so clearly I don't need to rely on horror games for proper body on game kind of data. So that's really nice. Because I think I've gotten so used to horror games that they just don't scare me quite the same. But they can cause stress for me. And that's still useful. And a jump scare is a jump scare, regardless. But I mean, it's like, I don't get as anxious as I used to. Although I could believe that some of the games, I don't know if Outlast would. Because that's the first one I did. And Alien Isolation, I could see maybe doing it. I don't know, though. And I'm calling it Alien Isolation because there is one that I want to replay at some point. But, that shall be another time. I do need to get this stopped. Alright. I hope you enjoyed it. It is a good game. If you don't have a 16-core processor or more, play the Director's Cut. I mean, you can only get the Director's Cut. They don't sell the base version anymore, which is fine, but it is obviously a little bit of a problem if you're somebody like me who uses a Threadripper. Anyway, it's possible that they fixed it. I just doubt it. I just have my doubts. Alright. See you next time.